So welcome everyone to our Strategic Corporate Allies product showcase today. So for those of you who don't know what the Strategic Corporate Allies are, they are corporations that we work with, our member corporations that help support CLA's mission through the things that we do, advocacy, education, innovation, to strengthen the industry, advance our members' businesses, and prepare the next generation of laundry professionals for the future. So we do have 9 total strategic corporate allies, but today we are going to hear from 4 of them, and there will be another one next week, and I'll go over that near the end. But we are going to start with Nick DeCenso. I don't know if I said that exactly right, who is Senior Vice President of Sales. So Nick, I am going to turn the presenter mode. Or actually, I shared, so you should be able to share your screen.
Are you seeing my screen?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Let me just get situated really quickly. You pretty much crushed that. Nick D'Ascencio, and SVP of Sense. So we're here to talk about Sense. We're very fortunate to be a corporate ally. I feel like we've done it for a couple of years now, and actually went back and watched last year to kind of see what we talked about. One of the challenges is our product gets bigger and bigger and bigger every year, but this time slot remains still 20 minutes. So one of the things, I'll cover a lot of the stuff that we covered last year, but I'm probably going to get inch deep on a bunch of stuff. And at the end of this, if you want to book time with me one-on-one, or if you're watching it live or asynchronously, I'm going to make it really easy to get time with me and my team, so we can go as far deep as you want. And here we go. So the first question is, what is Sense? Which is getting harder and harder to answer as the years go on, because I think what's a super typical in this industry is one company does one thing. At its core, we're the operating system for the modern laundromat. I think when you think about a laundromat, it's the machines, it's the utilities, it's the real estate. But there's a surprising amount of technology that laundromats use to operate. And historically, it's been one product from one company, another product from another company, and those tools were incredibly effective. But what happened is you had this disparate data, which made it harder and harder to own laundromats at scale. So the pillars of our products are a suite of tools to help your business grow. Let's make more money. A suite of software tools to help you manage your laundromat so you can get out of your day-to-day business as an operator and start to be more strategic about your business. But the biggest thing is as you own one laundromat or 2 or more, it gets more complicated. How do we get that data across your entire business into one centralized place so you can understand your business and make business decisions to make your life a lot easier? So this is also really important. This is a slide that I've introduced over the last 2 years that, like, why did we even start the company Sense in the first place? So Alex, our CEO, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, he set out to be a laundromat owner just like all of you. He looked at the investment opportunity that was there and what made the space interesting, and it intrigued him. But naturally, like a lot of our minds, if owning one laundromat is good, 10 must be better, and everyone wants to own 1,000. And this is the part where all the machine operators smile because they've heard the story a million times. But his dream was to go out and own not just one, but a bunch of these. And him being a technologist, he started looking at the tools that were available, and he started to realize, like, in order for me to do a bunch of these, I'm going to need a lot of technology, and none of these things cohesively work together. And so it really set out, we said, I'm not going to own a laundromat anymore. I want to create the technology that I wanted to be a multi-unit owner and make it easier to operate these businesses. And that's how we were born. And we talk about this a lot. It's like, even prior to Sense, like, there's a fair amount of technology in the laundromat space. So if you're just a self-service operator, which is a huge category, it's like there's no shortage of machine payment systems, no shortage of customer service options, no shortage of marketing tools that are available to understand your customer. And I'll tell this clear as day because I know a lot of these people really well. Like, these are all A+ companies and A+ people, but the reality is they just do one thing really well. And one of the biggest trends in laundromats is going into pickup, wash, dry, fold, drop off. And that results in a totally different suite of tools. So now you're using a point of sale, which is a ton of them for laundry and a ton of them not for laundry. And they work, but they don't incorporate with any of the other tools that make your self-service laundry operate. And you start earning commercial to that. You're running a totally different book. And let's not forget our friend pickup and delivery. And prior to Sense, there really was only 2 options. You either getting in your own car, or you're buying your own vans, or you're outsourcing your pickup and delivery to a third party on a rev share. And there really was no in between. So when you think about all this technology to run one location, there's a reason that there's not 100-unit owners, or there's very few of them. It's because the technology you need to run these things at scale would not accommodate multi-unit ownership. And this is also very fun to say, and you can also compare this to this exact meeting we had last year. We used the exact same slide. At this time last year, 1 in 12 laundromats in the United States were using Sense in some way. That is now 1 in 10. We've added almost 1,000 new operators to the Sense ecosystem, and that's not everyone using every one of our products. That's them using at least one product. And the thing is as exciting as a sales professional to say, hey, we added 1,000 people last year, that's 1,000 more people to think about before we go to bed. That's 1,000 more people to think about when we wake up in the morning. And the reality is, any given week, we're adding another 20 or 30 operators, which means like this is getting bigger. And something we're really proud of between last year and this year is we added more people in support and engineering than we did in sales, meaning we're making sure that as these people bet and deliver on us, that we deliver for them. And this is also kind of fun. Taking the outside here, these are some of the operators that are using us. So SuperSuds and CleanRight. These are operators that have been around a lot longer than we have, a lot longer than a lot of us have. And they have no short of choice of who they can be working with. And they looked at everyone in the ecosystem and they saw what we were delivering and they chose to work with Sense. And in the middle, it's FinExpress and WaveMax, more newer operators, quickly scaling. They had choice of what operating system they wanted to run their laundromat, and they chose us as well. And like I said earlier, like every time someone says yes, it's just more trust that we have and more we have to deliver on. But it does make us proud to know that the biggest operators has everyone banging on their door that's done all the research in the world. They chose to come onto our platform. That's something we're really proud of. So let's finally talk about our products. We have 6 product lines, which is crazy because I had to edit this slide. We only had 5 when we delivered this last year. We have point of sale system, which we'll cover, card payment system. So that's for your self-service to take either payments at the machine or through a stored value system. We have the whole software suite to run pickup and delivery from websites and online ordering and everything in between. A marketing suite to talk to your entire customer base that's unified in a way that makes sense no matter how they engage with your company. New AI call center that we launched in January that's quite powerful that we'll talk about. But the most important thing, and you'll hear me say it over and over again, is the business manager where all the data comes back to. If you adopt one of our products, you have your data. But the more products you adopt, the richer that data suite is going to become and the more you're going to be able to do for your business. This is kind of crazy, but we talk about this a lot, is like there is absolutely no one way to operate a laundromat. I've met every make and model of successful laundromat owner. I only do self-serve. I only do pickup and delivery. I only do lockers and everything in between. And I think a big tenet of ours is that as we build software and technology, we don't say you need to be this type of operator to use our software. We try to meet operators where they are. In fact, not every single operator we have uses every single one of our products. Like if you're self-serve, you're going to have a much different relationship with us than if you do wash and fold or pickup and delivery or a combination of the three. And I think it's a big thing to understand is as we get bigger and bigger, not everyone uses everything. They just use the product suite that makes sense for them. And the truth is that competitor down the street that you've been competing with for 10 years might go up for sale, and that might become your business someday. You don't know what your business is going to look like 5 or 10 years from now. So having a suite that you can scale into, out of, up from, across from is going to make your life a lot easier. So let's talk about the products quickly. When you use disparate products like an A+ point of sale system and an A+ self-service machine payments, what happens is you're running a set of books for your drop off and a set of books for your self-serve. When you're using one unified company across everything, the ability to do more with your business and your customer base becomes possible. And that's where the all-in-one offering makes a lot of sense. So let's cover machine payments. This is something else we feel really strongly about. Historically, you talk to a company that did machine payments, and they would just do stored value, like Launderworks before we acquired them last March. Or you talk to someone that did app or someone does on-machine payments, and they only do that. So they're going to tell you why that is the best way to run your business. Something we've decided is we want to do something across all of the major categories. So when someone comes to us as a consultant, we can coach them through the best thing that makes sense for them. And at this time last year, we had Pulse, we had Penny, and Launderworks. But even now, the Penny and Launderworks system works as a hybrid system. So you can install Pennies today and add a kiosk later. Or you can add a kiosk today and add machine payments later. Or mix and match the systems. And even across stores, you can have different systems across different stores, and all that data comes back to one centralized place. The point of sale. If you do wash and fold or pickup and delivery, this is basically the control center of your entire laundromat. It's simply a cash register. But quite importantly, it's all the data that makes sure that that relationship with that customer, your pricing is consistent. It's easy for the attendants to use. It's bilingual. the ability for you to have task management. So you're making sure that as a attendant's there on a shift, they're performing the tasks you need for a day. But most importantly, you're creating one centralized view of your customer back in your business manager to understand exactly how much money you're making, exactly how much staff you need, exactly how busy you are, exactly what you need to be growing your business in a bigger way. And that's quite powerful. Sense Dispatch, there are customers every day that they're running their wash, dry, fold business and they see people running pickup and deliver and they think about, I want to get in that business as well. The ability to, with one click of a mouse, to add the entire suite of tools that you need, which is online ordering, the ability to manage those orders, but also historically, you've had to only get your own drivers. That was the only way to run pickup and delivery. We were the first, and now everyone does it, and we love to be those pioneers, is the ability to integrate with the gig economy. So that you now have the ability to schedule pickup and delivery orders to your location without having to invest in your own drivers. But say tomorrow you start doing that and you recognize that's good business for you and it hits a certain scale and it makes sense to invest in your own drivers, that same suite of tools you're using can be adjusted for your own drivers. So that's the ability to do route management, geofencing, pickup and delivery schedules, pricing, etc. So again, as your business changes from doing it to not doing it or doing it a little to doing it a lot, we can meet and grow exactly where you are. This is a product which I'll spend a little bit of time on that we absolutely love. AI is everywhere. And we created an AI call center. So 80% of the time a phone rings at a laundromat, it's a question that could be answered on your website. It's your hours, it's your pricing, it's your location, et cetera, et cetera. And we created a product that sounds like a human that's also powered by our real call center internally in case we can't answer the question. That basically is now answering 90% of phone calls that it takes and resolving them satisfactorily without having to escalate to either an attendant on the store or the owners themselves. But AI is one of those things lately where it's very easy to say, this thing does that. Not just with the call center product, but I think something you're going to be seeing as time goes on is you're going to see us taking a stance that like having all your data in one place is great. But that creates work for you. How can we take work off of your plate? And I think this is probably the first time that we launched a product that when you launch this product at your laundromat, it's actually less work for the owner or operator. And I think you're going to find over the next year when we give this presentation again, we're going to be talking about lots of different agents that are actually reducing the dependency on human capital you have at your laundromats. And I think there's some interesting ways to do it, but this is the first way, and we're really proud of this one. Oops. So Sense Accelerate. Sense Accelerate is the CRM where all your customer database is. It's how often they order, what they order, when they last order, et cetera, et cetera. Having all that data in one place, we just relaunched this product literally today. Historically, we had this database and we allowed you to text, email, and call individuals from this platform. Now we have the ability to have time-based campaigns. For example, someone comes and does 3 drop-off orders, automating a text message to that user saying, hey, you've been using our services. Would you mind leaving me a review? Or you have a customer that's coming to you like clockwork and it's one of your whale customers and you haven't seen them in a while, an automatic message saying directly from me saying, hey, I see you haven't been here. Any reason, anything I do can help, and a way to actually make those conversations happen proactively. And those time-based triggers, those behavior-based triggers are something that with that data set, it's going to make it easier and easier for you to be an owner and engage with your customer base. And because we keep this open source, the ability for you to, your creativity is going to be the only limit here. So there's a lot of, we look forward to seeing what our owners come up with this now that we've developed this product. So last but not least, the business manager. When you have all this data in one place, your self-serve, your full serve, your pickup and delivery, stores 1 to 20, your ability to be an owner and look at those insights and figure out a more efficient way to run your business, like this can be the competitive advantage as you think about going from 2 locations to 200. This is the data set that's going to allow you to be more efficient on what should your pricing be. This should allow you to make better business decisions on like sometimes business ideas aren't great ideas and weigh the cost versus the income and maybe divest from those areas to make your business a little more easier. But if you understand your operations, your ability to be a better owner will be there. And this is the last thing I want to cover. I think not just here in this industry, but the industry as a whole, is when you typically buy software, it's you buy your software, swipe your credit card, and they point you to the help documents. Here, every single laundromat owner that buys one of our products gets assigned a customer success manager that works directly for me personally. And this person's inside the US, a highly compensated individual, and their whole purpose for being is whatever products you bought from us, whatever they are, is to get the maximum value out of them. So if that's helping you understand the product or giving you advice on how other people are using it, or even sometimes being a shoulder to cry on, they're there for you. And we also have a second level of support, not only for owners, but also for attendants as well, where if it's between business hours and you call into our call center, it's a bilingual call center to say, hey, I'm not sure how to do this order. So let me hold your hand and like get that order done the right way to make sure it's putting less load on the business owners themselves. And of course, 24/7 email support. We do monitor that 7 days a week to make sure if there's really a fire or emergency, someone's going to call you back, someone's going to reach out and make sure to help you out. So 6 products in 20 minutes. I went an inch deep on a lot of them. If you want to learn more, trisense.com. On the upper right-hand corner, you see schedule a demo. You fill out your information. This is not a back and forth of now what time works for you. The very next step is you have a schedule of someone in your backyard that works for our company directly that can answer any questions you want about it. You book a time that works for you. They're getting a live video call and go a mile deep on anything you want to talk about. So we make it very easy to get in touch with our team as well, because I think that's an important way to start a relationship, because that's how our relationship's going to be. So thank you. Are there any questions that I could answer for anyone?
So I put a little thing in the chat. So if you do have a question for Nick about anything he presented, lots of good information, you can type it into the chat. I did forget to mention at the beginning that this whole showcase is recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel. You'll also get an email with a link to that. So if you want to go back through this at any later date, you certainly can go back and listen to some of it. We do have a question. Are there any distributors you have difficulty working with? Because I assume you work through the distributor model to install the equipment.
Yep.
I hate to really call out names, but I guess in your most general way.
Yeah, I'll just say this, and I think this is probably the best way to look at it, is when you work directly with us and we're going to figure out which machine manufacturers you have, we know who's in your backyard that represents those machine manufacturers and their A+ individuals. Probably outside the machines themselves, we're probably, the Launderworks product in particular, is probably the second most commonly sold product at any distributor in the United States. It's incredibly uncommon that we find a distributor that's not familiar with our product and doesn't know how it works. So all the friction you tend to deal with is it's a new product and a new distributor. A lot of that bad gas has already been run out of the tank. So I'll tell you, the biggest thing is we choose to work together. We can help you find a distributor that's in your backyard that specializes in your systems, that's done a lot of our systems. So any idea of difficulty is probably eliminated. But I mean, the reality is the distributors are fantastic partners of ours, and they definitely, I have way more good experiences than ones that cause friction. So
Thank you. Any other questions for Nick before we move on? Are the Sense penny readers working with Continental machines yet? I guess Nick or Joel could answer that.
we got a thumbs up over there. So we have an option for every make and model of machine. So it depends on the right setup, but I'd say yes.
All right, yes from both. More questions? Okay, well, certainly if you think of something as we're going through, I will give, oh, sorry, one more. Can machines be set up to take either cash or credit?
I love all these questions. Our number one selling unit is the Launderworks system, which is the kiosk on the wall. The kiosk on the wall takes credit, debit, EBT, and cash, and it loads value onto the card, and then you tap on machines. So that's that system. The other system, yes, you install the penny reader on the machine. It allows you to take coin at the machine, obviously, and credit and debit at the machine, and also mobile payments as well.
So really no form of payment it doesn't take in some capacity.
Correct.
Do you integrate with CCI's Fast Card Laundry Card, or do we have to use your system?
Great question. I actually really like this one. So here directly for me, we want to be an open system. And the idea is that any of the vendors that's that list of like high quality vendors, CCI included, that want to work with us, we will work with them. So we have an integration between the Sense POS, an app called WashLinks, and then that allows Launderworks to work. We have made that API completely available to all the POS companies. If they choose not to install it, that is up to them. But it's there and available for them. And we are totally in support and an open ecosystem. We are not a closed wall system. So what I will say, there's a limited integration with CCI Fast Card, so it depends on the nature of the question. But if you have stored value on a card, you can add the reader to our system and tap to the POS system. So it's thorny question with a lot of questions inside of it, but yes, there's integration there, and yes, we're open to other providers.
Great. Okay, we have a little bit longer one. So do you know if the registered cash card can be connected to security at the door? So they're saying, let's say I want to only have a partially attended store with hours unattended. Anyone that has a registered store card can gain access while unattended. That's a great option.
Another great question. So the Launderworks system in particular, not only can you mount the readers on the washers and dryers, allowing you to start the washers and dryers with the stored value system, which I have one of my beautiful cards right here. But you also actually are able to put those readers on your vending machines, on your bathroom doors for secured access like that. Also on the front door. What I will say, the front door, it's a means of egress. We kind of have to look at it a little more carefully. But can it be put there? Yes, 100% it could be put there.
Questions?
Love it.
Give it just a minute to see. Okay. All right. So we are going to keep moving on. Oh, sorry. We do have a few more questions in the question area. Someone asked about a recording, and yes, you will get a recording of this entire showcase. Someone is wanting to know for you, Nick, what are the top issues that customers encounter in the first year of operations when deploying Sense for wash, dry, fold?
If you're in Texas next week, I'm giving a whole 1 hour talk on this exact topic. The biggest thing is when you go from self-serve to wash, dry, fold, the nature of your relationship with your business is going to change. And it's not simply leaving the machines unattended and they operate, but the truth is that a self-service laundromat has a completely different operational pattern than a wash, dry, fold business. When you're dealing with wash, dry, fold, you're starting to deal with staffing, hours, having attendance, scheduling the drop off and the return and the communication. So operationally, your business changes, and I think people really underestimate that. When you get to pick up and delivery, which is not the question here, it is that times 10. But the reality is, we talk a lot about one-way doors and two-way doors. Is like, are there things that you can get into that allow you to try it without ending up in crazy contracts or huge capital commitments or huge infrastructure commitments? And I think that's the biggest thing is I feel like operators that I see, you either have to go for it or really be thoughtful about what does the MVP, minimum viable product, look like of launching it. Because I've seen people like build it and they will come. That can be challenging. So I really think it's a matter of your relationship with your business. And is it I hate to even use this word, a more passive investment or more active investment, but when you start to move into services businesses, like it's no different than if you walked up to a restaurant and it was closed. That's not a great experience. So you need to think about logistically your relationship with your business changing. And I will say sometimes people underthink that element and they think it's just magic. But if people are thoughtful about it and think about what's the little way to build it and a little way to scale it and then going for it full time, those operators that think about that thoughtfully are remarkably more successful than the ones that kind of half go into it.
Advice. All right, we are going to keep moving along here. So up next, we have King Lee, who is the Director of Domestic Sales and Marketing at Dexter Laundry. So King, if you want to bring up your presentation.
Absolutely. Let me get to that. Okay, everyone can see that?
Yep, you're good.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks, Danielle, for having us. Thank you to the CLA, especially Danielle, who's organized this for a couple of years now. I appreciate the time to kind of showcase what we have here at Dexter Laundry. What I'm going to talk about today is our new X Series. Now, we've been talking X Series we launched last September, and unfortunately, it was right after the showcase that we had in August. So I couldn't talk about it then. But we have the new X Series, and you know, I travel the country, and I used to get a lot of questions from both store owners and salespeople saying, "Hey, when is Dexter going to come out with a touch control on their machines?" So, my common answer always was someday, because I couldn't tell them that we've been working on it for a number of years, but I would always say someday. And well, finally, someday is now. So welcome. So I'm excited to talk about Dexter X Series. Quick overview, quick introduction. My real name is King Lee, and I am the Director of Sales and Marketing. Previous to that, I used to be the regional sales manager. I used to cover the East Coast. Then I moved over to cover the West Coast. So I pretty much have met a lot of people, been in thousands of laundromats. Before that, I used to build laundromats for a distributor up in New England and upstate New York. And then even way before that, I used to own dry cleaners. So I used to own dry cleaners in Connecticut since 1988, and which then means I have been dealing with other people's dirty clothes for 37 years now. So I like to say I've been on both sides of the counter. I've been a customer, I've been a small business owner like a lot of you have, I've been a sales guy on the street, and then now I work for the manufacturer. All right, enough about me. What is X Series? Well, what I like to say is X Series is more than just a touch machine. And I found this quote, which I think is kind of appropriate to what Dexter believes in. It says, you have to start with the customer experience and work backwards towards the technology, not the other way around. And that kind of struck a chord with me. And unbelievably, you know who said that? Steve Jobs of Apple, the guy who we all associate with technology. He talked about starting with the customer experience first, which I think that follows the Dexter motto. So we came out with the X Series last September, and we have our new vended lineup. And when I say it's more than just a touch screen, it really is. We have not taken away from the integrity of how we build Dexter machines. So I want to make that point perfectly clear. So here's our vended lineup we have with our X Series. We have, starting off with our smallest, the T350, which is the 20-pound washer. Then we have a 30, 40, 60, 90, and all the way up to 120-pound X Series washer. And if you notice, all of our larger washers, starting with the 40, all have the front soapbox. The only two that do not are the two smallest machines, the 20 and the 30. And then our dryer lineup, we have our 30-pound single pocket, 50, 80, and 120-pound single pocket dryers, as well as our 30 and 50 stack dryers. Most of them come with reversing, being able to incorporate reversing in the dryers. So some of the key features I want to talk about today is what makes the Dexter X series a little different than our C series. And one thing I want to point out is we are not doing away with our C series equipment that we've had running great since 2014. So we fear there's a couple options that customers want: the simplicity of the C series and then the technology of today with the X series. So I want to talk briefly today about the same Dexter quality, leak detection, moisture detection system, level 1 fire response system, our 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, and the fact that we have multiple languages now available on the screen. So let's talk about Dexter quality. And when we talk about Dexter quality, we have to start with our history. So since 1894, all of our equipment is proudly made in the USA. So we're celebrating our 131st year making nothing but commercial washers and dryers. With that tradition, we always say, with tradition comes great responsibility. We're proud of the fact that we are made in the heartland of America. So for those of you who are not familiar, we are actually made in Iowa, which is pretty much in the center of the country. And we're located actually in Fairfield, Iowa, which is in the southeast corner of Iowa. Great town. Here's a picture of our square. Danielle's been there, and I'm sure some others have been there. Population 9,640. So it's great working people. I always joke that our factory is in the middle of a cornfield, and here it is, literally in the middle of a cornfield. So when we talk about our Dexter tradition, we talk about how 100% of our equipment is made in America. That's very important to us. We are not going to go outside of the United States to build our equipment. The other great thing that separates Dexter from anyone else is we are 100% employee owned, which means I am a part owner of the company. If you talk to any one of these 5 people on the screen here, they are also owners of Dexter. So when you call into the factory, you're talking to one of the owners of Dexter. If you need to talk to the president, Amanda, at Dexter, you can do that. We will walk over and hand her the phone. If there's an issue brewing, our guys can go out into the factory and talk to the supervisors. They're all part of the Dexter family. We are all part owners. So we like to say that your success, is part of our success. Let's talk about leak detection that's featured in our X series washers. So now what's standard in our X series washers is that you will get an alert if it detects that the water level has dropped before it should have. So whether it's a leaky drain valve or a water valve or a pressure tube sensor going wrong, or maybe, simple fact, someone left a sleeve outside of the door when they shut it and start the machine, and now the water is leaking. If they don't utilize our emergency stop button, which comes standard on all our washers, that can create a little hazard as, gallons of water come streaming out. So this gives the owner, if you're unattended especially, an alert that, hey, washer number 6, we detect a leak detection. So the person can then go and address that. On our dryers, a great feature we now have standard on our X series dryers is moisture detection system. What the NDS system will do is twofold. If you are a pay per minute, facility where someone puts in a quarter or 50 cents and they get X number of minutes, if they put in an hour and the dryer will sense when that load is dry. It will not turn off that machine because legally they paid for that full 60 minutes, even though, as we all know, most loads are done within 30 minutes. But some people want to run out and go do their chores before they come back and get their clothes. So they will get the full hour. But what it will do is the MDS system kicks in, it will drop that temperature down to your lowest setting. So factory default on our dryers, 175 is high, 150 is medium, 125 is low. If they set it for an hour at high, they'll get that full hour's worth of time, but it will drop that temperature down to 125. That will prevent a lot of issues. They still get the full 60 minutes they paid for, and the clothes will still come out warm when they're done. Now, if you happen to be in a free dry situation, which I know there are certain pockets of the country that are really heavy into free dry, because they are not paying for that dry, once the moisture detection system senses that that load is dry enough to the satisfaction, it will shut that machine down. So that is where you're going to see a lot of savings on your utilities, especially on those where you're doing a free dry. Level 1 fire response system. Let's talk about that. I mean, this could be a big fear that a lot of store owners have is, you have unexpected fire. And we've all seen it. 99% of these dryer fires will happen because of something the customer has done. There's some kind of solvent on the clothes that has not rinsed free. They put way too much time on it. Like I said, 60 minutes. I've seen people put 90 minutes, 2 hours on a load because they want to go do something. Well, think about it. With today's fabrics being a lot of this moisture wicking polyester and stuff, it dries very quickly. But now you put 2 hours on it or an hour and a half, all that heat at 170 degrees, 150 degrees, all that heat smolders and just, sits there, especially in the middle of the big pile. And then poof, we've all seen videos of spontaneous combustion. It's a real thing. It can happen. What this system will do, and we've had this system tested on our OPL segment for 10 years now, is that once that temperature rises above 35 degrees, there's a sensor that will sense that. It will then cut any fan motion. If the fan is going on, it will cut the fan off, starving it of oxygen because fire obviously needs oxygen. And then it will start to tumble to smother out the fire before it gets too big. Now, is it foolproof? No, but it will save, hopefully, most of that clothing, and it will save your machine, and it will save your store. Our 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty on X Series. So on our washers, 5 years on everything except the bearings, the seals, the bearing housing, the frame, and the tub. That still gets our 10-year warranty on our washers. And then on the dryers, 5 and 5 on everything on the dryers for X Series only. There are no restrictions to the number of turns it does. We don't cap it off at anything. It's transferable, this warranty, to any new owners as well. It's a 5 and 10 for the washers, 5 and 5 for the dryers. Multiple languages. We all live in an area where you may have a heavily Hispanic area where Spanish is the predominant language, or even Portuguese or Italian or French. So we offer at least 10 different languages, and we find that that's been really, really helpful. And the one thing I want to stress here with this video is we have not changed the integrity of the Dexter machine that has been around for decades. We have a lot of big multi-store owners who have said to me, King, I don't want a touch machine. I want the simplicity of your 4 buttons. 50, 60, 70 of my stores all have it. I know my customer base. They want the simplicity. Well, like I said, we're not doing away with the C series. We've just added the X series, which kind of gives you just more technology, a bigger brain. But the C series was still there, and we also have not cheapened any of our products. Like I said before, we are employee owned. We don't answer to private equity companies. We don't answer to Wall Street. We answer to ourselves. So I want to always stress that you're going to get the same Dexter quality just with an extra touch now. So here I quickly put together some of the user benefits that the user at your location will have with the X series. Obviously, easy to read large screens, easy connect to Dexter Pay or any other card system. They have different levels. You could do delicate, light, normal, heavy, a lot of different wash options, reversing on all the dryers now. They can add an end of cycle rinse and spin if they by chance use too much soap, and we all know they do. And no over drying with our moisture detection. But then what are the store owner benefits? Well, we made it very easy to have upsell cycle options right at the machine now. So you can charge more for a heavy load or an extra rinse or a pre-wash or an extended wash. You have a coin box switch alert now so that you will get an alert if that coin box has opened up without you knowing it. You got error codes with the QR links attached. You could remotely program water levels, and beyond everything else with the moisture detection on the dryer saving utilities and the water leak detection saving on utilities. We feel like we've given everything that the customers have wanted with a touch control. And it works seamlessly with existing machines. So we purposely do not change the look of the Dexter machine too much. So here's a picture I took at our factory store. We have half a mile down the street from our factory where we put in an X series washer next to a C series washer. So you don't have to plan on changing out your entire store. You can do machine by machine or bulkhead by bulkhead, and it doesn't change the appearance of your actual store. And here you can see the dryers next to C series, next to X series. And someone said, well, why would I want to do that? Well, obviously, it's pricey to change out all your machines, but we noticed that you will see an uptick in revenue. So at our company store, we were able to monitor 60-pound washer, putting them right next to each other, an X series and a C series. And I know this might be a little hard to read, but in this time frame that I looked at it, our C series 60-pound washer did $5,100 in revenue, whereas the X series right next to it did over $7,000 in revenue. Now, some of that obviously is because some people like to go towards what's shiny and new, but a lot of that was due to the upsell features that are readily available now and easy to navigate. So to cap it up, with Dexter X series, you're still getting the same Dexter quality, just with an extra touch. We're not doing away with C series. We have the X series for those who want it. And whether you start off with a few machines or an entire store, they will work seamlessly together. So I thank you for your time. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to take any right now.
Okay, so any questions, go ahead and add those to the chat. I guess you provided everything they would ever want to know, King. All right, well, I'm gonna keep moving us along, but again, feel free to add the questions because at the end I will just check and make sure that we answered everything.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We now are going to move on to our next presentation. We have Joel Jorgensen, who is the Vice President of Sales at Girbau North America. So Joel, if you want to, yep, you're all good.
When you can see it.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, fantastic. As Nick and Lee both said, thanks to CLA for hosting. Always the perfect conduit, CLA bringing us to the market. We have outreach programs. Laundrolux has theirs, Dexter has theirs, but CLA is a great neutral ground. Our presentation today and the other manufacturers represented is really for the preview what you're going to see, hopefully a clean show in 2025 in Orlando, but also for us to then outreach to the market and show some of the evolution. There's been a tremendous amount of evolution, and to dispel any question that might be on the attendees' minds, we all know each other. We run into each other. There's some generational networks. We've been around different shows and events. So King, Nick, and Jason, and I, and certainly the CLA members, we spent a lot of time together. And if I didn't hear incorrectly, King, that was very, very generous to make Nick and Jason and I all owners of Dexter. You said everybody on the screen. So, that's just a little idea of the goodwill that exists in our industry. So thanks very much for that. Fantastic. So the graphic I've got up is I was putting this together, and it is a product showcase. Really made me think about, surrounding the products that we all represent. I haven't made a single machine today, but it's so important about the surrounding services that we provide and present to the market. And it's really the feedback from the market that helps us design, develop, and give feedback to design engineering, whether it's a manufactured product or an OEM. It's other services that we have to represent, either ourselves or through our distributor network, all critical aspects of us properly serving the vended laundry industry itself. And I think you've heard me say before, we don't live in a vacuum. Vended laundry in particular, and the market that CLA serves is evolving. And in my 3 decades or more of involvement in the business, this is true more now today than it has ever been. So keeping up with that evolution is a key part of what I think the CLA brings. Certainly they help us and you, the market, drive us as manufacturers and distributor representatives to the market to keep moving that along with our services, along with our other ancillary products and so forth. So important part of this presentation, as well as, really giving you a perspective of some of what's going on in the manufacturer's world. So for 30 years, Girbau North America was part of Girbau and its global entities. And again, through that build out of services, we had expanded some branch operations, expanded into a license agreement with offering Express Laundry Center brand and concepts to the market. We rolled out in 2003 Girbau Creative Services, so marketing and advertising services for distributors and end user operators, as well as a custom select finance program. So that's the way the world was turning all these years. And we're part of a global footprint owned by Girbau SA, based in Spain. And that was true until March of 2025. Okay. And the evolution now affected us, not only in our products, but we were acquired. Girbau North America was acquired by EVI in April of 2025 in partnership with Girbau. So part of that evolution brought the North American family. We got bigger. So while we were operating through our independent distributor network, and our corporation was a little over $215 million. Now we're part of an organization that's closer to 465. So with that, everything from our services and our service to the market remain the same. And in fact, it strengthened Girbau and our position in North America, really with that customer support from now and into the future with some of the evolution that's been going on through distribution and services to the market in North America. Okay. So what we're a part of today is over 30 full service distributor business units with over 450 service technicians. 3 of those focus on parts and service specifically, and then combining our brands with some other marketing brands of the EVI network is some financing, certainly our Express Laundry Centers, and then creative services with Spinner. So again, solidifying some of that all-important service and value wheel back to the market in combination with the products we represent. Okay, what does that look like on a map serving North America? One of the most comprehensive distribution networks in the world, and that's EVI and private distributors along with our branch operations. So important to the day-to-day support and operation that we've been existing in North America. You know, you look at fashion, maybe it comes out of Europe or one of the coasts. Laundry is really focused, and we lead the world in laundry technology and market evolution. And so for a break-in for a manufacturer coming from, whether it be, and King said, manufactured in the USA, you know, they go out of market in Canada, they go out of market in Europe. We are the epicenter here in the United States for laundry technology. It's not easy for brands to come into the United States due to our maturity, and that includes the vended laundry market. Okay, so we're eyes of the world when it comes to vended laundry now and into the future. And this is sort of the brand evolution that Girbau has gone through over those years. All right, so many of you probably know us, our branding through Continental, Express Laundry Centers, and vended, also in commercial OPL. And then we market also the textile care brand of Poseidon into traditional dry cleaners and like fire and flood reclamation businesses, a segment we refer to as textile care. All right, so I talked about evolution. I think this next video, whether you're a self-service only laundry, you're getting solicited for other services, knocking on your door, asking for that. This next video, I think, is going to maybe touch a point that you're either going through it or have gone through already.
Pickup and deliveries, I'm not gonna say new, but there are more and more people, store owners looking at it, things like rents and mortgage payments and equipment service, debt service, note services on your laundromat are all pretty much fixed. So it's how can I drive more business into my laundromat? And so a number of laundry owners have picked up a van and then picked up another van. But now you can go out to the spas, the salons, to the residential houses. Some have lockers now. They put lockers in office complexes or at the train station in my town. So it's expanded the amount of business and cycles that you can do per day. If you think a laundry is open, let's say 10 to 12 hours a day or 14 hours a day, when the self-serve customers are coming in and producing maybe 4 or 5 loads per day in an average washer, there's a lot of unused downtime that can be turned into productive time. I've seen it grow substantially. It's going in the right direction. I don't see a stop to it.
So that's Todd's 40-year, view and watch of the market. And he agrees with me and the others on this webinar today is that this evolution, while the Western Fold's not new, it certainly has evolved, and some of the other market evolutions and business and revenue opportunities are ever expanding. So I said this before in a CLA event, I'll say it again. We and other equipment manufacturers were lagging behind the evolution of this business, okay? Led by the technologies and breakthroughs in payment systems and POS. And Nick touched on a few of those. I mean, it was really, we were limiting what he and the store owners were able to drive for revenue through the door because they could find a way to produce, the revenue. The business was there, it was being solicited, and all the market could see was unused capacity. So this is just a phased growth tool that we've developed through our interface with store owners and customers, but it's a phased approach to become a textile care enterprise as opposed to a vended laundry in particular, okay? So part of that, I want to present to you some of the probably unknown is the participation of Girbau North America and some of our other brands that we represent in the 5 identifiable commercial laundry segments of commercial OPL, known as hotels, care facilities, maybe fire departments, vended laundry, which we're all talking about today, textile care, traditionally known as dry cleaning, and then the industrial laundry segment and guest amenity. So really 5 distinguishable commercial segments, all are evolving just like we are here today in vended laundry, okay? We feel like Girbau North America is uniquely positioned through our expertise to grow with you, okay? No matter where you are today, where you want to be, and that again is part of our service and product we want to present today, okay? So we talked about these phased evolutions. There's some limitations, and one of those, and it was our product and other products, inability to expand into commercial work because we just had vended fixed cycles and they were not super flexible. So that means, bath temperature and wash duration, maybe bath exchanges, chemistry. All those were very limited in our traditional vended cycle that we needed to address to help you grow. Okay. Same thing. We did have specific on-premise laundry or commercial professional machines. They had the controls, but you're limited in a laundromat for space. So very, very limiting. So very, very important if you want to move to that next phase or step. All right. So talk about learning from the market. This is a store design, actually 3 different stores. But this was designed from the market giving us feedback, and they found ways around through design to address their expanding revenue and business streams. And, with that customer handshake of a full service, engagement right when you walk in the door, and then modeled self-service, mirrored sides, left and right, with an open air visible commercial plant in the back. So self-service and wash, dry, fold customers in the front door, commercial textile care and restoration work out the back. And, these weren't just plans, these became tangible. And again, this is the market teaching us how they design around our inability at the time to address the commercial needs in the market. So also the ability to cordon off, and if they needed the extra capacity, never shut down to self-service, but, easily segregate between wash, dry, fold or commercial volume, and then a more publicly available self-service. So very, very unique. Again, something we learned from the market. So we finally come to market in 22 with our Genius series. It's Genius because the market told us to do it. And it combined our legendary performance and hybrid controls that address both the vended and commercial cycle needs in your enterprises today. That's the important component. Okay. So that's what today's laundromats are starting to look like. Newer one built in 2023, and you can see the self-service, and then obviously on the right-hand side, the commercial plant. So that concept continues to evolve and develop in how these stores are built and designed, and the spaces that they're designed for. Okay, so what can it do for you? That's why you're on the call today. Genius is unique in that it does present both vended or commercial messaging right at the point of sale. You can do anything from advertising, whether it's products or services, store hours, special announcements, to whether you transition to a commercial, and that would include operation or safety instructions, shutdown protocols, and more. So that's all done right through the screen. You've got a managed library of up to 15 files, and then you can run up to 5 streaming at a time. So again, an important component. You think about idle time of a machine, flashing price, as opposed to messaging about other revenue and service aspects of your enterprise. Okay, what else? They decided to patent a status light. Nothing new. This is something we borrowed from our industrial segment. We've used for years in large plant operations and industrial laundries, and bring it to the commercial market. What does it mean for you? One of the biggest problem, unattended loads. So not only your customers, but your staff can see when cycles are complete. You also can visibly see all the way around the store what machines are available. So again, people coming in, customers coming in for their convenience, they don't have to wonder what bulkhead's available, what machine in a certain capacity is available. They can move quickly and efficiently to that open machine. All right. Also other status, including a 2-minute notice when a cycle is about to be done. Again, alerting both the attendant and or the customer that their cycle is about to be finished. Okay. So finally, the newest innovation, and this is again something borrowed from our other segment expertise. I guess the nuance is combining the delivery of cleaning products to the customer at the point of sale. And whether it's an all or nothing, you either deliver cleaning products or you don't, or you give a customer a choice. So a couple of different models that are out there. There's also the challenge of delivering precise small quantities of cleaning detergents, color-safe bleaches, and softeners for the self-service customer, long distances in very small quantities with little maintenance. So that is a trick, again, combining with industry partners in chemical delivery that has been evolving. And I can attest for my time at the 22 Clean Show, #1 question and request when this was coming to Vended Laundry, okay? So you combine this with the emergence and continued growth of Wash, Dry, Fold and commercial accounts, this makes a powerhouse space that can certainly maximize that revenue per square foot and either self-service hours that are operational, or certainly that conversion into commercial and industrial, okay? Here's how it works. Complete options if the store or the customer does not want to use the store's products, to bypass that. Option 2, use the store's products are offering, one or all. These are the back-end options for you, the store operator, to decide on. So a common question, people say, I'm just not ready. I don't think my customers are ready. All we're doing today, just like with the obviously emergence of ozone or other technologies over the years, is we build out the infrastructure so it's a simple retrofit. Any Genius machine is retrofittable to either a self-service with or without soap delivery. And obviously the hopper is still available to the customer to use. And it's unique the way we have learned from the market. They're maybe specific on a product that they want to bring. They'll add it to the detergent and then they'll buy the store's color safe bleach or softener. So a unique hybrid approach, takeaway that we learned from the payment technology back in the 90s when it was coin or card, not both. So that's what we adapted here, okay? The next big innovation, I touched on this briefly, was hybrid and the functionality, but just real quick is taking that vended self-service and the ability of the store owner or operator to convert that machine, bulkhead of machines, or the entire store over to commercial plants with a simple transition of the control. Okay, so here's the technology on the self-service side. You can display from 1 all the way up to 8 cycles, up to 4 extras, again, revenue generating extras. You have the ability as the self-service operator to go back do other selections. The entire time, the receipt on the right-hand side keeps them apprised of the selections that were made. And then obviously going to a payment screen. Okay. Now that's a self-service operation. The attendant now can code in customized security code into a complete option array to the pro setting into commercial cycles. So never seen or utilized by the self-service customer, only your operator, or maybe it's a sublease to a commercial plant operator that wants to use your space and your machines during off hours. Okay, again, just some of the flexibility and evolution we're experiencing today. All right, finally, is more of our capabilities. What makes Girbau North America unique is our, years and this morning I was on 3 different calls. One was on premise, one was industrial, and I actually had 2 other calls on vended laundry today. But I mean, it's the diversity of our products that really make us unique. There's outstanding equipment manufacturers, payment and POS represented by the CLA and partnered with the CLA. But this is where we really distinguish ourselves as different from 20 to tunnel, full drying options, industrial laundry, and dry fold. And this is, it's amazing. Actually, some of the first tunnel systems we brought into North America were from business that was grown out of the front or back door of vended laundry. So it could be you if it wasn't already. Here's a little bit more on industrial laundry and automation.
Automation can save a lot of time. Normally, the standard process in a commercial facility may be taking linen from a washer to a dryer and then hand folding and stacking with multiple operators. Automation allows us to skip the drying process by introducing that automated ironing system, drying, ironing, feeding, folding, and stacking that piece. A lot of the questions we get is, when is it time to automate? That threshold is unique for everybody. We like to dive into daily demand that the laundry is currently offering, and truly consider a 5-10-year outlook for that owner's business. We can provide a solution that takes one operator and one operator only to operate piece of equipment. Increasing production throughput, reducing time on task, and reallocating labor to other parts in the laundry that is truly beneficial. With our ironing solution, the self-contained system allows a smaller footprint. At Girbau Industrial, we can offer customized dry good folding solutions to fit customers' space concerns, but also utility concerns. I think the best part about the Girbau Industrial towel folding product offering is that we can evaluate what type of towel you need to have folded and suggest the right folder to that specific customer. Girbau Industrial operates through 70+ distributors that are boots on the ground, making sure that their customers at the end of the day are happy with not only the purchase, but what that automation and transitional product was meant to do. And that's really drive down labor, increase throughput, and hit that bottom line.
All right, we're very proud and pleased to be catching up with some of what the market's demanded for years. So look forward to growing with you, the evolution of the market, seeing and talking between now and clean and in person there, if not before. So with that, thank you, and I'll turn the screen back over.
Yes, and we already have a question. So someone is asking, can customers still see the remaining wash time on the screen if marketing messages are displayed?
Yeah, and Michael, thanks for the question. And yes, that is absolutely programmable. You can choose to have marketing screens or not. If they do go into the sleep mode, touch the screen to go out, and they can always check the status. Plus, don't forget the patented 360 light that's going to indicate when there's 2 minutes left in the cycle. It'll flash blue and then transition to an orange when the load is ready to be removed.
Great. No other questions. Michael Finkelstein is congratulating many of you on your presentation. So glad you've enjoyed these.
Right.
All right, we are now going to move on to our very last presentation. So our last presentation of today is with Jason Fleck, and he is the Senior Vice President of Strategic Partnerships at Laundry Lux.
Yes.
So,
Says
let's
Share my
see,
screen?
Joel, I think you have to stop yours, stop sharing, and then Jason should be able to share.
fuck.
Don't know if I can do it or not.
Can you see my screen
Um,
right now?
yes, now we can. We're good.
Okay. Okay. Hey, everybody. It's great to meet you. Thank you, everybody, for attending. And it's great to be a part of the CLA. Thank you for offering this opportunity for Laundry Lux to talk to some interested people in the industry. It's always exciting. It's an exciting time for new store owners to catch them at this phase where they're gathering research and making decisions. It's great to meet you. My name is Jason Fleck, and today I want to use this time to really talk to you about your journey to store ownership, and not just about product, about all the steps along the way of finding maybe a great advisor and to help you not get stuck along the path. Let me get used to this interface. A little bit about me. I've been in the industry my whole life, building brands, successful sales teams, and helping countless owners like you find a way to be, a profitable, beautiful store. I'm also a sitting board member of the CLA. So let's jump into it. I think as equipment providers, we tend to literally not think sometimes outside the box and forget that all machines wash clothes, take money, and owning a laundromat is a series of challenges. And our job is to make all of those challenges a little bit easier and guide you to the finish line quickly and efficiently. So let's start with our why. But first, I wanted to see if I could get this video to play. Let me know if you can hear it.
Tagline took me a while. Wish your laundry done, because I know everybody's wishing that their laundry would be done.
It came back to that, customer experience. What are you trying to provide? You're trying to provide something that is better than is out there.
It's like in the Disney World of laundromats, honestly.
Well, that's funny because we're a big Disney family, so maybe that was subconsciously in there somewhere, So Next Level event, the first one that we attended was an invite from Jeremy Hunt, which we had a relationship with. But we went to the Next Level event and we left that event going, wow, that was quite amazing. Just the energy efficiency of the machines compared to other lines really blew us away.
They are almost dry. It's very weird. It feels like if I would have put them in the dryer already for maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
And then they are able to get in and out in 45 minutes.
Also a
So-
function of these, the Electrolux lines, just such incredible machines as far as, energy efficiency goes and water extraction that it allows your normal laundry, even compared to other laundromat commercial equipment, to get done that much quicker.
So dream investors to work with would be like Mike and Ursula. They've been fantastic to work with. They came into the laundry business just like a sponge, wanting to learn as much as they can about the industry. They've been to several Coin Laundry Association events. They came to several events that we hosted and just sat there and absorbed all the information about this business, about this industry. Always tell investors, when you get into this laundromat business, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's one of those things that you're not going to probably be able to find a location right away. And it's one that, like working with Mike and Ursula, we looked at several opportunities before we were able to find Laundry Wish.
So we're here at our second store. We're under construction. We should be opening here in the next couple of weeks.
We're really excited about serving the community and offering the new Electrolux machines. So this will be definitely a differentiator in the market here.
Oh, I love the fact that there's most of them that we've worked on so far has been soft mounts. So, you know, you don't have to fiddle faddle with concrete, sweeping up after yourself, cleaning and drilling and all that stuff. You just set the machine in place. And as long as the floor is level and the machine levels out, it runs as smooth as possible. That's what I do like about the Electrolux and the product.
We're standing here at Laundry Wish second location, a location that I presented to Mike and Ursula. And one of those things that we do a full soup to nuts approach on the laundromat business. So we helped identify this location for Mike and Ursula. I presented this opportunity to them and helped them with everything in the transaction. One of the things that we like to do is almost partner with our investors in the laundromat business.
But we really believed in you know, the team that surrounds your equipment line as well, you know, so important. You know, I think that, you know, don't discount your price, provide a superior experience, you know, and I think it's proven time and time again that those customers that are your customers will come back because they are happy with the value that you're providing, the price and what it comes with it. And that's what we experience here. It's, you know, it is between the brand, the Laundry Wish, the customer service, you know, her interaction with customers to the equipment, you know, and what it's providing.
Don't undersell what you're worth.
Yeah.
So that's our story of Laundry Wish. And I like that testimonial. We have many, but that one really kind of covers all the bases, right? Talks about how Laundrylux helped finding the location to advising on the construction. And it shows that they're built a successful store and they're on their next project with us, which is a good sign that you're with the right partner when you're doing multiple stores. So I am very proud of that video that I put together with the team in Texas anyway. But Laundrylux is a network of salespeople all over the country, like Jeremy. And depending on where you're at is who you get to work with geographically. But we have this homogeneous training program that we basically teach them all. If they're not the expert in locations, they certainly have services at their fingertips to get those services, but a lot of them are. So moving on to the next slide here, we'll, you know, just cover some of the reasons some of us love laundromats. I mean, I think you got to start with the why and you got to back into a solution. These recession-resistant, you know, businesses generate a great ROI with a high success rate relative to, say, restaurants that have like what, a 20% success rate in the first 5 years. They are semi-passive businesses, right? They allow you the freedom to keep your day job, and if you want to scale today better than any year previously I've been in the industry, technology, like Nick was talking about earlier, just allows us to scale these operations to much larger multi-store ownership than the cash limitations of before may have provided. So let's talk about where a lot of people are getting tripped up getting into a laundromat, because I think it's important to recognize these pitfalls and then present some solutions that Laundrylux might have a unique position in. You know, obviously locations are a huge bottleneck. It's a lot of people get tripped up, you know, when they get out of the research phase and into the location phase. In a lot of markets, we have a long line of investors and we have a short line of locations. And so really the people that can move to the front of the line are the people that can move quickly and are easily financed and what have not. And then in some, you know, areas, we have a lot of locations and fewer investors. So it's really very market dependent. But I do notice that, you know, given that you're all here, you're interested in getting a laundromat, you know, finding a location will be the biggest decision you probably can make, much bigger than the equipment choice in many ways. A poor layout of a store, everyone has an opinion on layouts in our industry, and a lot of them have good points. But older antiquated layouts of yesteryear are not really compatible with modern demands. Make sure your business is built for the future and that you have the right sizes of equipment, the quantities of equipment, and not just that, but build your laundromat to be serviceable and safe and with customer experience at the heart of it. Because if you do all that, you're going to be successful and profitable. The other thing we talk about layouts, I mean, and I'll get into it later, is hard mounts, soft mounts, what's a G-force of the equipment. So we'll talk about it later. One thing we do at LaundryLux is just about everything. We're going to hold your hand from the beginning and take the entire journey with you, and not just an order taker of equipment, but we're a facilitator of your entire vision. And to demonstrate this, I think the video did a great job, Laundry Wish, of kind of showing that process of Mike and Ursula's story. Is not that uncommon. As I look across the many deals that we're in from week to week here. But let's talk about the steps of that journey and how we're different. If you're here on this call, many of you, so I see there's some existing store owners, and hi, Michael, how are you doing? Discovery is likely the phase most of you are in right now. You're doing research, you're selecting your advisor, you're attending this seminar. I mean, that's an important step. Then there's location, and like I said, it's a very important decision. It's why I have it bolded out on this slide. It's tricky, and I think LaundryLux has come up with a unique solution to location bottlenecks, and I'll talk more about that later. Design, laying out the store to maximize profitability and customer experience. A great advisor is going to walk you through all of that and have their reason and get your input too. Build out is a tricky part of the journey, and the various mistakes and tricks and little things that can kind of pop up that are unforeseen can be limited, not completely stopped, by having a great advisor who's going to walk you kind of through that process. So definitely want somebody who you checked references on, that that they've built successful stores for other people and know what they're talking about. And then launch and support, which is kind of like what I would say. We have a commissioning team at LaundryLux that will come in after you start up a store, and they're going to program the store, and they're going to show you how it works, and they're going to ask you questions and customize it for you. And they're going to double check and triple check all the venting and make sure the makeup bear is right and the spacing between the washers is right. All the little things that you don't think about that we've learned can really kind of make the store ownership process a lot better for you in the long run. So let's talk about real estate really quick, because this is a hot item in our show we had in Chicago last week. It was a big topic, and I think a lot of people get hung up on it. And I think we kind of, as an industry, for the most part, I've noticed a lot of people get thrown to the wolves here to go find their own location, or maybe they bring a semi-okay location to the table, and the salesperson's so eager for an order, they're afraid to tell you that it's probably one you should punt on and find another one. So with LaundryLux Real Estate, we utilize cutting edge technology like AI tools to help locate those spots that others might have missed. We can actually like heat map, if you think about it that way, an area using these tools, and we can force rank existing locations that are kind of known locations, right, against home run locations, and really kind of say, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 9, this is an 8. This is stuff that didn't exist, when I got in the industry years ago. And I mean, many of us probably still utilize this, and there's still a lot of value to riding around the market and just using your eyes, but why not have all these tools kind of like as a second set of eyes on you? So this is a great service, and we can deploy this service really anywhere in the country. And towards the end of my deck, I'll have a QR code you can scan, and we can get you some more information about that. So Layout and store planning, just a little more about this. I mean, everyone in the industry has their own way to lay out a store, but the technology today allows us to make more data-driven decisions. I mean, like where do I put, should I put 3 80-pound machines in the front row or 6? I mean, the soft mount technology also allows us to lay out a store with less equipment than a hard mount store. Or you could choose to keep the equipment count where it is and prioritize throughput to help you on busy weekends where we make most of our money. And or maybe you have an urban store with challenging parking. We can help you turn those parking spots a lot faster with soft mount machines. Simply because they're higher G-force, they spin out more water and they spend less time in the dryer, for those that don't understand that. Some other things to consider that a good advisor is going to assist with beyond the product are things like ancillary services. I mean, Nick talked about wash, dry, fold planning, getting you, I mean, partnered with the right vendors to help you kind of fill the gaps where the equipment, stops and you have other needs that need to be filled. Employee hiring, staffing models. I mean, I've got some really great experience. I've got guys who've owned several laundromats on staff that are out there and can really help. Even I've seen them train employees on folding. It's just incredible, incredible knowledge out there that we can deploy as a company. POS and customer engagement tech, like CRM is a relatively new thing, and the last 10 years it's gotten more and more important, like having a customer list that you can market to, and that you can push out, text messages and things to. That's all part of, the entire enchilada of owning a laundromat. And then having a marketing playbook. I think a friend of mine was doing a deck on marketing and said this interesting stat that like 36% of laundromats do some kind of marketing, but the rest of them do no marketing whatsoever. And that's really a low bar in our industry. So if you're a new investor coming into the industry, to have a good marketing playbook is important. Laundry Lux provides a really comprehensive service called Creative Services, where we are going to help you design a logo, to customize signage, to just anything you could really want, set up a website even. But and then I would say there are other like more advanced marketing services available out there that you can hire a consultant to help you ramp your store and this and that. So definitely something you want to consider and figure into your business plan. So I'm going to talk briefly about equipment, because I wanted this to really not be about equipment and really be about services and people and the journey that you're going to have to take. Equipment just being one decision along the way, right? The 100 G-force equipment, we have 200 G-force hard mounts and we have 450 G soft mounts. I lead with soft mounts personally, just because I like the faster dry times. I like lower utility bills. I like having a superior customer service. I think that time is valuable for anybody of any socioeconomic stratus. Like just getting in and out of the store in less than an hour is just an incredible, benefit that soft mounts allows you to have. So I always lead with it, because if you're competing in a sea of mediocrity out there of stores that are all kind of doing the same thing, you need to stand out. And whether you install ozone or you go with soft mounts and you have the utility company essentially write you a check every month because you have this great efficiency in your store, I think it allows you to create a better customer experience. Well, I'm going backwards. Sorry, apologies. So I do like to tell people this all the time, because I see online on Facebook and stuff, I see people saying, well, how cheap can I get in the store for? And I said, well, what you put into it is what you get out of it. So demographics permitting, if you want to spend 500,000 on a store, you're going to limit your ROI a little bit, in in the amount of revenue it can produce a month. So the larger stores generally, if the demographics support it, make more money, and that makes total sense. And you need more cash to get into the larger stores. I'm showing a soft mount store here in Spring Hill, Florida, that, you know, was just 7,000 square feet. I mean, it's a big store, right? Big capital investment, but also big reward if you nail it. And so I've noticed that bolder operators are coming in and building bigger stores than ever previously seen. So the choice to lease or own is a big decision, and a great advisor can kind of help you with that. There's a lot of pros and cons, and we can get into that later. I don't need to spend a ton of time on that, but it's definitely a big decision that you're going to have to walk through. A better build out, you know, obviously creates a better customer experience. If you want to spend a little more money on the fit and finish of the store, I think it pays dividends. I see a lot of people cut some corners and then later on kind of regret that they didn't go the extra mile. When that competitor wants to open down the street, you'll wish you probably had kind of really have a better mousetrap. You kind of see it in the gas station business right now, where, you know, the Buc-ee's drops into a market and changes the game for the 5, 6 other, you know, gas stations around there. It hasn't quite happened like that in laundromat business, but there is some type of attrition out there going on as stores are getting bigger and nicer build outs. So and obviously time, I talked about throughput being important. So I like to say that every store owner falls into one of these 4 buckets, maybe a couple of them at any given time, whether they're retooling an existing store, they're looking to buy another new store, or they're looking to sell their store, or they're looking to add technology. I mean, these are all, I would say, the 4 buckets, and everybody's in one of them. And what I guess I'm going with here is saying LaundryLux has a solution for all 4 of these buckets. So if you want us to jump in and help you wherever you are in this process, you know, you can scan this QR code, or I'll have it again on the last slide in just a minute. So if you need a minute to do that. Consistent support from day one. So let's recap. I mean, we're basically a turnkey service. We're a personal consultant. We're not just a sales rep. We give construction guidance. We give ongoing performance check-ins. We give support after the sale. We're in it for the long run. I teach all my sales guys, I say, wait, you know, think 5 stores down the road with everybody, you know, even if they only end up doing 1 store. So we're always, you know, trying to do our best to take care of our customers and their needs. And this is a lifelong relationship with store owners. I mean, we're in it for life. And then, you know, obviously, if you want to book a consult, if you want us to take you on a trip to a successful store and give you a tour behind the scenes, we do a lot of that, and I find it very successful. You know, and showing people who we are and what we do. But scan this QR code and you can schedule a consult with our team, and I'd be happy to see those leads come in and send them to the right people, and we'll be reaching out to you as soon as we can. And with that, I'd like to open it up and see if we have any questions.
We do already have a couple of questions. Both are related to soft mount. So first person is asking, why does a soft mount store require less equipment? Can you explain that?
Yeah, I mean, if you think of it this way, you know, the ratio of washer to dryer needs to be a little bit higher when the washers aren't spitting out as much water and people are going to spend more time in the dryers. You're going to need more dryers or fewer washers or whatever. The ratio is just a little different. When we build a soft mount store, we can almost go a 1-to-1 ratio, which changes the game. I can take a quote with 200G or 100G, and I can actually pull some equipment out of it. And the way I like to explain it is, yes, soft mounts cost like 20% more than a hard mount, but the return on investment you're going to get is compounding over month. So you get that money back. And And normally under 2 years, you get all of your money back that you spent on the upper investment of soft mounts, and then it's just money in your pocket. And it's also better customer experience, better throughput. In a lot of cases, it's the way to go. It's the future. I mean, if you go to Europe, they're already way ahead of us on this. The United States is a little slow to change.
So another question on the soft mount is, do they get any energy rebates with soft mount machines?
The answer is yes, and it's also kind of dependent on the state and the politics of the state and things like that. So there's definitely stuff out there to get rebates. I think of it this way. I think like, hey, if I'm going to spend $45,000 on an ozone system, ozone's great, can help you, differentiate your store a little bit, but it doesn't give you like a monthly payback like high spin does. I can much easier justify the extra money on high G, because in a sense you are getting a rebate from the utility company every time you get a utility bill. Does that make sense?
And then looks like we have one final question for you, Jason. Would Laundry Lux offer consultation on a payment basis if they use machines from a different manufacturer? Or do you?
I mean, what I would say to that individual is, rather than just slam the door and say, no, we really want you to buy equipment from us. That's how we get compensated. I mean, it's fair to say that. I think I would say still reach out to us, let us listen to your situation. Let us come out and see you. I think possibly we could convince you otherwise.
Okay. So looks like that is all of our questions and all of our presentation. So, Jason, if you can stop sharing, I just want to share a couple upcoming events.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. So, just a few other virtual events that we have coming up. So today's showcase, as I mentioned at the very beginning, it will be recorded today. So the recording will be posted on CLA's YouTube channel, and it will be sent out to all of you. We do have a second showcase because we do have 9 strategic corporate allies. So next week on June 11th, there will be a showcase featuring Alliance, Eastern Funding, ESD, Standard Changemakers, and Spider Wash. So encourage you to register for that as well. But outside of the showcase, we do have a few other programs coming up. Tomorrow, we have one on digital entertainment and a signage program for laundromats. So Atmosphere TV, some of you might be familiar with. It's a webinar that will go through some of the new features in Atmosphere TV. We also have an initiative for women in the laundry industry called the Women's Laundry Network. And tomorrow we're doing just an open Q&A. So we invite any women in the industry to join us, bring your questions for other women to help answer for you. And then for anyone on here who is just getting started in the business, we do a monthly How to Start a Laundromat webinar. Brian Wallace, who is our president and CEO, leads that. He usually has a guest, I believe Paul Hansen, who is on our board, came from a family of laundromats. He will be the guest on June 10th. And lastly, the big event that we're all so looking forward to is the Clean Show. So the Clean Show is coming up. The official dates are the 23rd through the 26th. However, CLA is doing some special events before and during the Clean Show. So our first one starts on Friday before it officially begins, and we're going to do a laundromat tour. So It is a ticketed event that will have a bus that, or probably several buses that will pick up at the CLA hosted hotel and take you to visit 4 different laundromats throughout the Orlando area. At one of the laundromats, we will also be doing a Laundry Cares Foundation free literacy and laundry day. So you'll get to see one of those in action as well. On Saturday, there will be a luncheon hosted by the Laundry Cares Foundation, so you can learn more about what they do and how you can get involved in that. Our Women's Laundry Network is doing a special luncheon on Sunday, and we have a keynote speaker. She is the sports psychologist for the Chicago Bulls, so it should be a really good program. And then CLA is celebrating our 65th anniversary at Clean this year. So we are doing a big reception on Sunday night, and Monday at the close of exhibits, a happy hour for women. So most of these events do require registration. So if you go to our website that's on the screen, you'll see all of these listed with the registration. So with that, I want to thank all of our presenters for sharing great product information, good little preview of Clean. I know they'll all be at Clean and be happy to chat with you there, or if not before. As I mentioned, this recording will go out, and I thank all of you for attending. And hope everyone has a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle, and attendees.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.